Well, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on this incredibly special event that we're putting on from Helping Rhinos and Ol Pejeta. Now, from England here, I was going to start with good evening, but actually just before I was informed that we're now joined by people from over 10 countries around the world. So for some of you, it's going to be good afternoon, and even for some of you further afield, it's going to be good morning. But once again, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we've got lined up such a fantastic event for you this evening. We're going to be crossing to Ol Pejeta live, where we're going to be talking to James Merenda. Now, I'm sure for most of you, James needs no introduction for his incredible work that he does with the northern white rhinos on Ol Pejeta. And we're also going to be chatting to Richard Vine, who's the managing director of the Conservancy. We're also going to be having a performance by the Maasai dancers, and that's going to be live. And then later we've got an exclusive interview with Professor Thomas Hildebrandt, who is heading up the BioRescue project team that's working tirelessly to save the northern white rhinos, again on Ol Pejeta there. We're going to be talking live here in London in the studio to Simon Jones, which I'm sure for most of you, you know as the CEO of Helping Rhinos. And then later on, we've got a stunning performance by Ol Pejeta. And he's the Nairobi-born dancing star, that's now taking the international ballet scene by storm. But first, tonight, it's about supporting conservation in crisis at a time when it needs you more than ever. Now, due to all of these travel restrictions from COVID-19, the tourist income that would normally be generated is effectively ground to a halt, and that tourist income is vital for communities and for conservation. Now, not only is that for 2020, but the way it's looking at the moment, that's also going to be true for 2021 as well. So we really need to work hard and support, as I said, that conservation in crisis. Now, we've got some fantastic auction items as well tonight. We've got some original pieces as well as some money can't buy items that are available for you to bid on. Now, we're also going to have Jonty Hearnden in the studio here later on, and he's going to be completing the live auction lots 1 to 7. So let's change this leaderboard and raise as much as we possibly can to support rhinos. Now, to do that, you have to go to givergy.uk/Sundowners and click the silent auction link on the left-hand side, or simply, with the wonders and modern wizardry of technology now, open up the camera on your phones and you should be able to point it at the QR code that's on your screens, and obviously your phone will do the rest of the work for you. But remember, if you want to take part in that live auction later on towards the end of the event, then you have to register. Otherwise, you'll be frustrated when you're trying to put your bids in and you'll miss out. Now, you can also get involved this evening. We're going to have a Q&A session towards the end of the event with Simon, James and Richard. So if you're interested and want to ask or pose a question, then you need to do that in the comments section on YouTube. Now, in a moment, we're going to transport you to the plains of Ol Pejeta as we join James Merenda, the Rhino Ranger, and Richard Vine on a Sundowners game drive, which I'm certainly looking forward to. So make sure, please, that you've got your Sundowners, your beers and your cocktails at the ready. But first, for those of you that are missing out on the traditions of being in East Africa and Kenya, we've got a special treat for you. So performing live at Ol Pejeta Conservancy, we're now going to cross over and catch up with the Maasai dancers that are performing from the local communities surrounding the Conservancy. Tell me that was all right, John. Tell me that was all right, John. Tell me that was all right.
Everybody, my name is Richard Vine, and this is James Mwenda. Welcome from wherever you are in the world. It's great that you could join us. So we're currently trying to head out on what we in this part of the world call a sundowner.
I think we'll try to go out at Delft. We hope to see as much wildlife as possible, but I have so much affinity with rhinos, and they are my favorite animals. I think we'll see what the bush will give us for the
See what the bush will give us. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. So, do you kindly explain to us how many rhinos we have in Ol Pejeta Conservancy and the umbrella species effect they have for other species, the Conservancy?
Black rhinos, we had a birth just the other day, so I think we're up to 138. And then southern white rhinos, which is this lot here, we have, I think, 35. They were introduced in around about 2006. So their population is growing well. And then obviously the two northern white rhinos, Nain and Fatu, who you know really well. Yeah. Approximately 180 rhinos across the whole property, across about 450 square kilometers, which is lovely. We're 15 or whatever it is, 16% of the national population of black rhinos, which is a fantastic achievement. Yeah. We're in the middle of our rainy season, yes. So by going out on a sundowner, we were tempting fate. But you're right to point out, rhinos are an umbrella species for us. So that's our focal species. That's the species that we set out to preserve and to look after. And we started that process when there were only 250 black rhinos left in the whole of Kenya. Now there are close to 1,000. So Kenya's done really well to grow its black rhino population. But by protecting rhinos and by protecting the habitat within which they exist, we're protecting a multitude of different species. So we have some of the highest densities of predator here, as you know. I think there's about 80 lions on this property at the moment. And they're moving on and off into the bigger ecosystem. Lots of cheetahs, lots of other predators such as spotted hyena. And of course, all of the prey species that need to go along with making sure that the predator populations are able to sustain themselves. What's been achieved here from a conservation perspective, I think, is pretty special. Yeah. Definitely a beautiful evening, isn't it? Cheers, James.
Cheers.
Happy sundowners to anybody who's watching.
Thank you so much, our Maasai dancers, for such an amazing performance. We are here in Ol Pejeta Sweetwater Serena Lodge, where we have chosen as a fantastic location for our event tonight. And we are hoping maybe the back of our shoulders here, we might have a chance to see some wildlife. We are so much grateful for all of you that have joined us for this event from all over the world. And I'm here with Richard Vine, Managing Director of Ol Pejeta Conservancy. And you'll tell us about our story, Ol Pejeta Conservancy, and how much we're moving forward. Welcome, Richard.
Thanks, James. Good evening to everybody. We're deeply appreciative of you all taking the time to join us this evening from wherever you are in the world. So thank you very much indeed. And before I carry on, I should say also thank you very much to Sweetwater's Tented Camp and Serena Hotels for all of the work they've put into making this event happen for us. Thank you very much indeed. And of course, all of the Ol Pejeta staff who've been involved, thank you too. So for those of you who may be joining us for the first time at one of our events and maybe don't know too much about Ol Pejeta, I'll give you a bit of a potted history on who we are and what we do. We're located in the Laikipia district, the Laikipia County of Kenya, central Kenya next to Mount Kenya on the Laikipia Plateau. We were officially established in 2005. And we set out to become a major home for one of the largest populations of black rhinos in Kenya, which is in fact where we stand today.
We have what is referred to as a Key 1 population of black rhinos, which means that it's a population that is over 100 individuals strong. And I think there are only 9 or 10 Key 1 populations across the whole of Africa. From a Kenya perspective, as I think we were hearing a little bit earlier on the game drive that myself and James did at the beginning of this event, Kenya has just short of 1,000 black rhinos now, and that population has grown steadily over the past 30 years from a low of around about 250 black rhinos, which was the lowest point that the national population reached. So Kenya is doing very well from a black rhino recovery perspective, but of course protecting black rhinos also protects all of the other species that we have here, and that would be all of the species that you would typically expect to find in an East African savanna system. So up to the present, I think my job this evening is to try to explain what has happened to us over the last 12 to 18 months. Since our last event, where many of you who are regular attendees will have heard our progress reports. Since that time, of course, the COVID pandemic has struck, and that has had a dramatic impact across the globe, and everybody I know who is listening will have been affected in some way or another. From Ol Pejeta's perspective, in April this year, international tourism came to an almost complete halt. As a result of that, our budgets, our tourism, our revenues from tourism, which for 2020 dropped and will drop dramatically. We estimate by as much as $4 million for the year. And that for us is an enormous gaping hole that we have to fill. The way we filled it, unfortunately, again, like I'm sure many of you have had to do the same in your own businesses and organizations, is by cutting costs dramatically. We've had, unfortunately, to make quite a few people redundant. All of our staff have taken big pay cuts, and those pay cuts will persist until such time as we begin to see some recovery in international tourism. And of course, we've had to cut our operational costs as much as we possibly can. But we've had to do that in a way which doesn't jeopardize the security that we're able to provide to our rhino populations. As most of you attending this event will realize, rhinos are threatened wherever they occur across Africa as a result of demand for their horn, primarily from the Far East. And that demand continues pretty much unabated. So we've had to find ways to keep people motivated whilst suffering pay cuts, whilst families and friends and relatives are losing their jobs, in the hope that we can keep our rhinos and other wildlife safe. And I'm pleased to report that thus far we've been able to achieve that. And in fact, in October we reached an amazing milestone. It was 3 years since we've had a rhino poached on the Ol Pejeta Conservancy, which is in fact a remarkable effort and a testament to the quality and motivation of our staff. With regard to the northern white rhinos, we're going to discuss it more in the event as we go along, but we are making steady progress despite the challenges to travel that the BioRescue team have had to face as a result of the COVID pandemic. But more on that later. Suffice, I really do believe that actually it will be possible to recover that species at some stage in the relatively near future. So going forwards, what do we expect? Right now, we don't expect international tourism to really begin recovery until the middle of next year. So we will continue to face an enormous financial hole as a result of that. And that's a hole that we will have to continue to fill with all of the cost-cutting measures that I've described, but also by leaning heavily on other sources of revenue wherever we are able to do that. And that of course, includes fundraising and what we call philanthropic incomes. And that's the reason for the event this evening. So the auction that is coming up is actually a fantastic auction. I've had a look at all of the different items for sale. There's some brilliant safaris, there's some really amazing items. And I would really request, on behalf of Ol Pejeta, on behalf of our rhinos and our wildlife, if you could all do your best to dig as deeply as you possibly can into your pockets this evening, with a view to helping us get through this next sort of 6 to 8 months until we begin to see the recovery, or at least the beginnings of a recovery in international tourism. So once again, thank you very much indeed, all of you, for joining us. It's deeply appreciated. We're sitting, it's I think about 9 o'clock at night here now, in front of a waterhole. We had 3 rhinos here earlier. The wildlife is still thriving. It will depend on our ability to raise money and to keep those revenues flowing as we do our best to keep everything properly protected until the world begins to return to normal. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, thank you very much, Richard, and thank you, James, but especially a big thank you to those Maasai dancers. There's something for me especially that's really sort of hypnotic when you see the Maasai warriors and the Maasai dancers. Now, personally myself, I've spent a lot of time over the years at Ol Pejeta, and it is truly a magical and incredible place. So as Richard was saying there, I would really encourage everyone to get on board tonight. If you can help support our Conservation in Crisis Fund, there'll be lots of ways coming up in the evening for you to be able to do that. Now, as we mentioned, we've got someone very special for you indeed this evening. So Joel Kioko grew up in one of the poorest areas in Nairobi, but through his dedication, his hard work and his commitment, he's become a leading international ballet star, having performed all around the world. Now, through this determination, he won a scholarship to the English National Ballet School. So when we invited him to join this event for conservation, Joel didn't hesitate and has given his precious time and choreographed and performed this bespoke and contemporary dance that you're about to see now.
Hey everyone, I am Joel. I am so excited to be performing for you all tonight at the Helping Rhinos and Ol Pejeta Sundowners event. I created this bespoke, contemporary piece, Memories from Home, to capture my feelings about the people and wildlife in my beloved Kenya. This piece embodies the life and movements of the animals back at home in the wild. I'm proud to be supporting this event tonight, and I hope you enjoy this piece I've created for you. Thank you.
Hallelujah, et Adonai kol goyim shabachu kol haumim ki gavar aleinu chasto ve'emet Adonai leolam. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, et Adonai kol goyim shabachu kol haumim ki gavar aleinu chasto ve'emet Adonai leolam. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, et Adonai kol goyim shabachu kol haumim ki gavar aleinu chasto ve'emet Adonai leolam. Hallelujah.
Wow, now wasn't that incredible? So thank you so much, Joel, for such an amazing performance, and we wish you every success in the future, and I'm really looking forward personally to following your career. Now, don't forget, you can get involved this evening. You can support us. You can support conservation in crisis. So go to givergy.uk/Sundowners, or you've got the QR code there that you can use your cameras on your phones, and that will take you, with the wizardry of technology, straight to that page. Now, it's not just about joining in for our auction later on. There's lots of ways that you can get on board and help support us, whether that's just make a donation or something that I'm really excited about. And in fact, I'll let you know that I've put several lots in myself, and that's the prize draw to name one of the baby rhinos on Ol Pejeta. Now, rhino conservation is an international job. It's not just one country or a group of organisations. It really is totally around the world. And that's why I'm excited to be able to hear and talk to my very good friend, who also happens to be the CEO of Helping Rhinos, Simon Jones.
Giles, thank you very much. And thank you for giving up your time as well this evening to be with us and host for us this evening. I also want to say thank you to everybody all around the world that's watching us. And I've seen from the viewing numbers, there's an incredible number of people joined us from we really do have a global audience. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. As Richard has already said, our original plan for this evening was to gather you all together in London and share a drink, share stories of being in the bush in Africa. But alas, the pandemic has prevented us from doing that, which is a great shame. But I guess there is a bright side and an upside to that. And that is because we have been able to bring this event to a lot more people around the world than we would have been able to do otherwise. And we need you now more than we've ever needed you before. You've already heard from Richard how COVID restrictions are having a devastating impact on the conservation world. And later, you'll see how the impact that that's already having on Ol Pejeta's black rhino population and the challenges that it's presented to the quest to save the northern white rhino from a near certain extinction. I know that these are some of the most difficult times that many of us have ever had to live through. But please, if you can, do get involved and dig deep to help us this evening, or today, wherever you're watching. We've got some amazing auction items, as Giles has already referenced, and Jonty will be taking us through some of those later on this evening. But there is something for everybody and for every budget. So please do go to givergy.uk/Sundowners and have a look through. And Giles has just been telling you about the Name a Baby Rhino prize draw. Just imagine being able to name a rhino in the most significant and largest black rhino population in the whole of East and Central Africa. And we guarantee that by way of thanking you for your support, that we will ensure that all of your donations this evening are spent in the most wise way in protecting rhino in their natural habitat. We all know about the impact that poaching is having on the rhino populations around the world. But the threat to rhinos through loss of habitat and the impact that that's having on precious ecosystems and biodiversity is arguably just as big, if not bigger, than the poaching threat. Helping Rhinos, we are committed to creating rhino strongholds. But what does that actually mean? Well, put simply, it means creating safe havens in perpetuity where rhinos can thrive and populations have additional protected areas and landscapes to grow, just like the black rhinos on Ol Pejeta that we're going to be hearing a lot more about shortly. We need to protect these rhinos. Yes, we may be seeing a decline in the number of rhinos poached, but that is as a result of the hard work of anti-poaching operations and procedures that have been put in place over the last decade. And it's imperative that we maintain those operations and maintain our vigilance in being one step ahead of the poachers. It's no time to relax, and we have to continue with that work. We also need to sustain the wild spaces that the rhinos need to survive. Rhinos are a keystone species, meaning that many other species rely on these eco-gardeners that have been around for millions of years. They're critical to maintaining a rich and a vital biodiversity, and we'll continue to work with all of our partners like Ol Pejeta on range expansion projects and to allow the natural growth of these key populations. And finally, we will inspire people around the world to see the benefits of wildlife conservation can play in wildlife conservations and the role that they can play in protecting our rhinos. This starts with the local communities surrounding the areas where rhinos are still found, showing them that by working with wildlife communities itself, we can help improve their livelihoods. And Ol Pejeta is a fantastic example of how a conservancy and the local people working together for the benefit of each other can really help. We've seen schools being built, we've seen local dispensaries being put up, but funded through Ol Pejeta. And we've, as Richard mentioned earlier, we've seen no rhinos poached on Ol Pejeta for now over 3 years, which is a fantastic achievement. So this is what our Sundowners event is all about. We wanted to give you a virtual escape to Africa at a time when perhaps you've not been able to travel there. But we also need your help to ensure that our wildlife is still there when we are able to all travel again and get back out into the bush that, like me, you're probably all missing greatly this year. Certainly, I know it's the first time in over 10 years that I've not been able to get to Africa once to visit our projects on the ground. So I really hope that next year we'll be able to get back out again. Now this evening has been no mean feat to put on, and there are a few people I really need to thank, because without them we just wouldn't be here broadcasting to you all this evening. So firstly, let me thank the Serena Hotel Group, and particularly for donating their space at Sweetwater's tented camp on Ol Pejeta. So when we saw Richard and James earlier, they were that's where they were, at the Sweetwater's camp. So thank you very much to them. Here in London, our studio space has been donated by Pixel. So a huge thank you to Pixel, because without them, we would not have anywhere to be standing here broadcasting, and also to Pro Stage Europe, who have provided the staging and the backdrops that you see here. I also want to give a big thank you to Adam Dadswell, who's been a rock in pulling all of the technology together, and along with Alex and Rory from Pixel, sat in the control room now, making sure that we're all seeing what we should be seeing when we're supposed to be seeing it. And talking of what we're seeing, there's some amazing footage and films coming up, and a big thank you to Pablo Lavinas and Valentin Lavis for doing the filming of these features out in Ol Pejeta and for pulling some of the editing together. And also Sharik Paul and Rob Wilcox of Impact Wild Studios, who have also given up a lot of their time to help with the editing over the last few weeks. And Joel Kyoko, we just seen with his incredible ballet performance. I think for him to give up his time and choreograph that performance, especially for us, has been amazing. And of course, thank you to Giles and Jonty, who are giving up their time to support us this evening as well. And thank you to Richard and his team, and also to my amazing team here in the UK, who without them and their dedication for what feels like an eternity over the last few months and pulling everything together, we wouldn't be here. But perhaps most importantly, I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching and for your support this evening. So, with that said, let's get back to the rhinos. When I first visited Ol Pejeta, I realized how significant their black rhino project was. To be the biggest population in Eastern and Central Africa is quite some achievement from a very small initial population. James Mwenda, who you met earlier, is now going to introduce us to that very special black rhino population and what are some of the challenges involved, both from a protection and from a habitat, sustaining the habitat perspective in keeping those rhinos safe and continuing their growth.
Our main mandate and duties as rangers of Ol Pejeta Conservancy is to protect these rhinos. We have to make sure that we see every rhino after every 4 days, at least, at most.
Control, Oscar Wandri.
Rangers have to wake up very early in the morning at 6 a.m. They have to go to the field with their binoculars, with their radios. They have to see the ears. Number 2 is the body size. Number 3 is the horn shape.
For us here in Ol Pejeta Conservancy, for the last 3 years, we have not lost a single rhino to poaching. Thanks to our anti-poaching unit, the K9 unit, and all the team at Ol Pejeta Conservancy that ensures that our rhinos are safe. For the last 30 years, our rhino population here in Ol Pejeta has risen from 4 rhinos to 138 rhinos. This phenomenal achievement and the success of our breeding program means Ol Pejeta is now nearing its carrying capacity.
Any population that is breeding, and particularly those populations that are beyond 100 individuals, means that they are the hope for the future of the species. They serve as an umbrella species, so their protection really results in protection of other species. Long-term concerns is that, one, we need to ensure that these animals are safe and secured from any danger, including poaching. We also need to ensure that now that we're getting into our carrying capacity, that there is space available for the excess or surplus rhinos. We need to have land that these animals can disperse into. Standing here, I'm actually looking at some of the interesting plants around here, common grasses. But what is standing out here is there is sprouting Acacia drepanolobium, which is a whistling thorn, and it's actually a plant that is very likable to the rhinos. In fact, they say 95% of the rhino diet on Ol Pejeta mainly comes from this plant. There's so much of this. If you look around, you see another one, another one, another one. And it makes rhinos appear as though they are grazing, the black rhinos, and we know they are browsers, but they are not. They are really utilizing this seedling level kind of acacia and the herb layer, which is usually in the grass. And so from a biological survey of suitability of an area, if you miss out this, you might actually assume a place is not suitable for rhinos, because visually you don't see the kind of plants that they like. But underneath the grass, within the herb layer, it's quite a bit. So my concerns has always been, are we going to have land sufficiently available to have populations that are not managed by man, but self-sustaining? When we love these animals, we will do anything for them. We monitor and patrol them day and night. So our commitment is beyond words can describe.
Kenya's black rhino strategy is to achieve 2,000 rhinos by 2030, and Ol Pejeta's black rhino breeding program is critical to this success. COVID-19 has made it difficult for us to raise funds needed for this conservation work. Thank you to each and every one of you for helping us continue protecting our rhinos here in Ol Pejeta Conservancy.
Wow, isn't that incredible? To see the growth of that rhino population on Ol Pejeta is incredibly impressive, especially when the same is not true for other populations, not just across Africa, but also in other parts of the region as well. So, you know, it's a huge kudos to Ol Pejeta and the work that they do. Now, don't forget, there's so many ways in which you can help us this evening and get involved. You're going to hear me, you've heard me say it a few times already, you're going to hear me say it again. You can get involved with our auction. You need to register though at givergy.uk/Sundowners. But it's not just about the auction. You can go on that same website or use your camera on your phone and click the QR code, and you can donate as much or as little as you can possibly can. But the one thing, as I mentioned, that I'm really excited about is that name a baby rhino. So I want to encourage as many of you to be able to do that as well. But at the same time, I'm determined to win it. So I don't want too many of you to enter that draw. Right. So don't forget, go to Givergy. Now, I'm hoping with the wonders of technology that I'm going to be able to cross to Kenya as we speak. I can't hear him at the moment, but hopefully I'm talking to James. And can you hear me, James?
Hi, Giles.
Hi, James. That's great. I've got you now. So it's so inspiring to see just how the black rhinos are thriving on Ol Pejeta. But you know, as we know, you and I know, and hopefully some of the audience already know, the same is definitely not true of the northern white rhino, is it?
Yeah, definitely, Giles. As we all know, we have two living northern white rhinos, Najin and Fatu, whose relationship is mother-daughter, and we are working so hard on an everyday basis, hoping that the southern white rhinos and the black rhinos will not face the same crisis as the northern white rhinos. And we are really working on the front lines together with the team in Ol Pejeta Conservancy, making sure that even the species that call Pejeta home still continue thriving. And you know, we are hoping that science will be able to save the northern white rhinos from the brink of extinction. Earlier on, our managing director, Richard Vine, spoke to Professor Thomas Hildebrand, who is the lead scientist at the BioRescue projects trying to save the northern white rhinos. And he had this to say.
Yep. Oh, sorry, technology. So James, you were saying that Richard's going to be talking to Thomas, Professor Thomas Hildebrand, in just a second. But can you tell us a little bit more when we talk about the two northern white rhinos that were that are left, the two females? There was once a male as well, and you know he's very famous in the rhino circles. Can you tell us a little bit more about Sudan?
Yeah, Sudan, you know, was one of the most popular rhinos on the planet. I mean, for the role that he has played in terms of raising awareness for endangered species, as well as the emblem of extinction that he was. He represented what is actually happening on our planet. We are all aware that we have 1 million more species that are threatened with extinction, and he was the perfect example of what is happening on our world. And also a reason why we need to, with emergence, try to protect what we have left, because it can be too late trying to save a species. And I think that's what the inspiration that he brought us. We looked after him on an everyday basis, making sure that he was okay. We gave him the best we could, but you know, we had to let him go at some point. As much as we loved him, we hope that he was able to create so much awareness. And I think we all understand that at least there's something that we can do to stop this from happening. And I think that's the reason why we are all here tonight, to make sure at least the 130 rhinos we have in Ol Pejeta Conservancy will still stay safe and make sure that they don't face the same fate as Sudan faced.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, James. I couldn't agree with you more. Sudan was such an incredible individual. You know, he played such an important part. He's not only an ambassador for northern white rhinos, but he's an ambassador for rhinos, again, not just across Africa, but across their other range countries as well. So in just a second, we're hoping to cross to that interview between Richard and Professor Thomas.
So I'm with Professor Thomas Hildebrand, who is the leader of the BioRescue project that is attempting to recover the northern white rhino from the brink of complete extinction. Thomas, hello, how are you?
Hello, hi Richard, nice to see you.
You as well. Thank you for joining us, Thomas, to talk about this exciting an amazing program that you're putting together, and the kind of the groundbreaking scientific process that has been developed to help give the northern white rhino a future.
I may start a little bit back in history. We worked with northern white rhinos since early 2000 when they were still at the zoo in Dua Kralova. And at that time, it was already obvious that the natural group had severe breeding issues. The decision was made to send them to Africa to reboot the reproductive system. Unfortunately, this didn't take place, and there was no breeding success with natural mating.
Just give us a bit of an insight into what you had to do to overcome all of those problems.
So we draw up a kind of scenario, a totally new approach for conservation, and I think we all had the strong idea or a mission to let these last northern white rhinos not go from our planet. And this strong belief actually led to quite impressive results so far. And the best, we have 3 first-grade embryos produced from Fatu. I think it is a very good example what science can do, because the northern white rhinos came in this situation not because they failed in evolution, because extinction is a normal process of evolution. No, they are only not bulletproof, and people poached them down to an incredible low number, and then this vortex started with the extinction process. To understand a little bit the challenge we had to deal with is the human IVF was created in 1978 when the first baby based on this technology was born. Transferring that from humans to a 2-ton patient was extremely challenging because these 2 females are aging quite fast. So we developed this technology in a very rapid process, which ensure us that we don't do harm to these last 2 patients, because the last what you want as a scientist that you fail and you do harm to these animals and they may even die during the procedure. So it is a very controlled and minimal invasive procedure. We were capable to apply that already 3 times in these 2 females. However, it is still a very delicate intervention. It needs a lot of professionals to make sure we don't miss anything or we have an accident doing this procedure. So it is always very tense.
Ready?
The first human IVF baby, it took 102 embryo transfers to make this first baby based on a test tube fertilization. We hope we are much faster, much more efficient, because we will never have so many embryos.
I suppose the next question that begs itself is how do you see this going forward? What do you see as being the next steps? And I suppose when are we going to see embryos implanted into surrogate southern white rhino females in the hope of creating viable northern white rhino pregnancies?
The last 2 northern white rhinos we have are the Najin and Fatu. That's the only individuals which can actually teach a calf to be a northern white rhino. We can use a southern white rhino as a kind of incubator, a surrogate mother. But this southern white rhino has a totally different pattern of behavior, different way how to eat grass and how to explore the environment. So we want that this social component will be transferred to the calf. And that means we have to be successful in the next 2-3 years. And we're working very hard to make that happen. You rhinos are very happy, very lucky, and roaming around nearly in a wilderness which is optimal for rhinos. So therefore, we have to work with your rhinos as a surrogate mothers, but they are wild. They don't tell us when they have an ovulation. So we can't check them every day or make a test on them. And therefore, we came up with the idea to use a teaser bull, a bull which is mating the females when they are in heat, which can be observed from the ground stuff. And this bull should be not fertile. This very specific time right now is the best argument actually for this kind of project, because COVID-19 costs the world so much money, and that based that an ecosystem was disturbed, that the germs, the pathogens from this ecosystem jumped to the human society. The ecosystem of Central Africa is a much more complex ecosystem and has already borne HIV, Ebola. There may be some more very nasty diseases. And if we fix this ecosystem and bring it back to a self-sustaining unit, and the northern white rhino plays a very important role in this ecosystem. It's a keystone species. We are one member of this planet, but millions of other individuals live with us, and if we ignore that, nature will strike back, and that can be very dramatic, like COVID-19 is demonstrating. If we don't bring optimism into this game, then we will never succeed. And our plan is to create a genetic viable population which can be reintroduced in the wild, and then at the end, maybe in 100 years, there will be thousands of northern white rhinos back in the wild. The northern white rhino will come back to this planet, that's for sure.
That's a fantastically optimistic note. Thank you, Thomas.
Just like Professor Hildebrand, together with us in Ol Pejeta Conservancy, we hope that the northern white rhinos will not go to extinction, because there are efforts to make sure that that doesn't happen. If you come to think of it, I being one of the people that have been there watching this unfold, and I remember vividly when Sudan, who was the last surviving male northern white rhino, passed. It was something that is really overwhelming if you come to think about of a species going to extinction. And I think with this in mind, that's the reason why we're here tonight, to make sure at least this does not happen to the 100 and over 130 black rhinos we have in Ol Pejeta Conservancy and millions of other species that are inhabiting the planet. And I believe we can stop it. We humans have made this happen, and we still have the potential and the ability to stop that from happening. And in that aspect, we hope that tonight we're gonna be able to continue that journey, protecting what we have here in Ol Pejeta Conservancy. And I believe that all of us, if we join hands, we can be able to achieve that. And I believe, Giles, there's a way that all of us can get involved.
James, you know, I was just thinking it's so humbling, it's so poignant to hear you talk about Sudan and the northern white rhinos, and obviously having that personal experience of seeing that, you know, connection that you have to all of the rhinos, but especially those very special three northern whites. You know, as I said, really does, you know, I can feel it now, brings a definite lump to my throat. Which then should lead me on to you guys watching at home. We've got some incredible artwork in the auction tonight of Sudan and the girls, and some other very, very special pieces that are completely unique, one-off originals of Sudan. So I hope everyone that was watching at home feels sufficiently moved as what I do to really dig deep and bid and play a really important part in helping us, you know, support our conservation in crisis tonight. Now, don't forget, please, we do have Q&A at the towards the end of the evening. We only have a few questions so far, so I'm sure some of you watching out there must want to know something from either Simon or Richard or James in particular. So if you post your questions in the comment section on the YouTube channel, I'll certainly do my best to get through them, as I said, towards the end of the evening. Now, protecting endangered and in fact critically endangered wildlife always comes across as such a truly daunting and challenging task. But I'm really cheered by Professor Hildebrandt's and James's optimism. But can our support really make a difference? And this makes me think, and I've used this quote on many occasions, but there's an American anthropologist called Margaret Mead, and I'm sure you might not have heard of Margaret, but you probably have heard of her quote. And that quote is, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. In fact, indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." Now, that's who we are tonight. That's who you are, and that's who we are. So please, as I said, really think about seeing if you can dig deep and support us. Now, Jonty is getting ready to join us and conduct the live auction, but don't forget there's lots of more ways in which you can help support us. There's something in there in the givergy.uk/Sundowners website to suit every budget. And the silent auction, so the first 7 auction items are going tonight, but in the silent auction, that's not going to close until 7 p.m. UK time tomorrow. And we also have our Name a Baby Rhino. I've plugged this a few times as well. So in our prize draw, just for £10, you can go into that draw to win the chance of winning a baby rhino. Alrighty guys, so Jonty's coming up to the stage now. So I hope everyone is signed in and ready to go with their bidding. So best of luck.
Thank you very much, Giles, and good evening to you all. Good evening, world. And as Giles and Simon has alluded to, we are here to make a difference. Now, I'm selling just 7 lots, but these lots are quite and truly fantastic. I've got 2 safaris to sell, 2 money can't buy safaris. The first lot is amazing. And I've got some wonderful, extraordinary bronzes and some great art. So there are only 7 lots, but I want you to participate. So all you've got to do, well, you've obviously got to be registered to do the bidding, but I, at my end, have a bit of a delay. So when you bid, which is on your computer, tablet or phone, you have to do it, of course, manually, but I have a 5-second delay. So what I want you to do is not act like you would in a normal auction where you wait to the last minute. I want you right pressing those buttons as soon as you possibly can. That means I'm guaranteed to get your bid, because what I don't want to be doing is selling something after the gavel has fallen. So I'll be selling in British pounds, and for those of you that are not too familiar with British pounds, the US dollar rate roughly at the moment is $1.13, something like that. So the dollar is just slightly over the pound. So let's get started and let's have a look at lot 1. So lot 1 literally is a money can't buy me lot, an exclusive and unique opportunity. This is 3 nights safari for 2. An exclusive and unique opportunity to go behind the scenes at Ol Pejeta Conservancy, get up close with the last 2 northern white rhinos left on the planet, and join the science professionals, including Professor Thomas Hildebrandt, who of course we've just heard from, as they conduct an ovium pickup from Nijan and Fatu in a race to save the species from extinction. How important is that? You will spend quality time with Nijan and Fatu and their carers. Help with the morning grooming and feeding, walk them out to the larger enclosure and assist in the mud bath. You will also go on a rhino patrol with the Rhino Patrol Unit and game drives to see the Big 5 and the rest of Ol Pejeta management wildlife. Lion tracking is also an option. So all you've got to do is get yourself out there, and also the pickups, you will be given a good at least 3 months notice that this is actually taking place. So I'm really pleased to say at the moment I've got a bid of 6,052. Now what I also want to say to you is we've got increments that will be going up in 500s. So I've got a bid of 6,052. That now has gone up to 6,565, which is brilliant. So the next bid will be over £7,000. So who will bid me £7,500? Is anybody out there that wants to bid £7,500? I will take £7,000. I will take, so that's 7,200 is the next bid. 7,200 is the next bid. I have a bid of 7,600. That's fantastic. 7,600. 7,600 at the moment. Can we take that up higher than that? 7,600 for this amazing experience. 7,600. Only 7,600. To me, this is literally a money can't buy opportunity. So 7,600 I have on my screen in front of me. I'm waiting for the next bid. The next bid has to be 8,200. At least 8,200 if you can. 8,100 I'm taking. 8,100. That's brilliant. 8,100. Okay, so the next bid is 8,600. Who will bid me 8,600? Is there a bid? I'm looking, I'm waiting patiently. 8,600. Are we in? 8,600 is what I'm looking for. Can we bid up to 8,600? Because it's worth it. It's your opportunity to share quality time with these two fantastic northern white rhinos. 8,600 I'm looking for. At the moment it's 8,100. I will sell at 8,100. My gavel is raised. 8,600 I'm looking for. At the moment it's 8,100. Is there any bids? I'm waiting for you. At the moment it's 8,100. I will sell at 8,100. We're in. We're in. It's 8,600. That's fantastic. 8,600. Now, 8,000. I'm going to put this down. 8,600 at the moment. So that person who bid 8,100, you're not going. You need to bid. You need to get your fingers tapping. I need to see at least 9,100. 9,100 will be the next bid. 9,100 is what you need to put into your computer or your telephone or your tablet right now. I'm waiting for you because it's the trip for you. 8,600 is the bid at the moment. Can we tip it over to the 9,100 mark? 9,100 is what I'm looking for. I'm waiting patiently. It's worth it. 9,100 is what I'm looking for. Is there any further bid? I will sell, therefore, at 8,600. My gavel is raised. 8,600. Sold! 8,600. Fantastic. I am reopening the bids because that bid has come in at 9,100. I'm going to take it. Of course I will. Of course I will take that at 9,100. 9,100. Can we confirm that 9,100? I need to go back to that lot. 9,100. I do have confirmation that's 9,100. I really apologise. I don't really apologise because we need the money. But I need to also allow the bidder who bid 8,600 to beat the 9,100 lot. So at the moment, it's 9,100. So the bidder who bid 8,600, I need to see where we're coming in. And I think you've done it. It's now 9,600. Fantastic. 9,600 is now the bid. We've got a real bidding war going on here, which is fantastic. So let's see where we're going. I need to be patient, guys, but you need to be bidding as fast as you possibly can. But I know this is serious money. At the moment, we're 9,600. At 9,600. So the bidder who bid 9,100, you're not in. At the moment, it's 9,600. So what I need is 10,100 from you. at 10,100, and you've done it! 10,100, that's brilliant! 10,100, fantastic. So, I'm going to ask the same question again. At the moment, the bidder who bid 9,600, you're not in. It's 10,100 at the moment. 10,600 is the next bid. 10,600 is the next bid. This is amazing, extraordinary, one-off opportunity. 10,600 I have! That's wonderful. 10,600. 10,600 is the bid. At 10,600, so again, I will wait for the 10,100 bidder to see whether they want to go up to 11,100. So 11,100 will be the next bid. 11,100 is what I'm waiting for. I will wait patiently for you. At the moment it's 10,600, 11,100 I'm waiting for you. At the moment it's 10,600 for lot 1, 10,600. I'm going to bring the gavel down very shortly. I shall wait patiently, but I can't wait all evening long. At the moment it's 10,600. At 10,600. Are we in 10,100 bidder? You are both anonymous. I can't see you, but I know that you so desperately want to go, both of you that are bidding on this lot. At 10,600, I'm going to sell at 10,600. I'm waiting, but I can't wait any longer. It's sold at 10,600. That is fantastic. Thank you so very much, guys, for bidding. So that's just lot 1. Lot 2, we move swiftly on to lot 2. Now, lot 2, this is an extraordinary lot. This is a beautiful picture, oil on canvas, that has been executed by, of course, the great Karen Lawrence Rowe, who's a great friend of this charity. And before I sell this lot, I just want you to take a look at this video.
Hi everyone. It's so sad that we can't all be together in the same room, meeting old friends and meeting new friends and learning so much more about the plight of rhinos in Africa and how difficult it is to conserve this ever-dwindling species. But here we are. COVID-19 has changed everything, not least really important events like these. But today, from my garden in the coast of East Africa in Kenya, it gives me great pleasure to give you a little insight of the process of my next 2 paintings that I will be mostly donating to Helping Rhinos and Ol Pejeta to help them with the really important work that they do. Originally, I'd planned to paint this very special mother and daughter on the same canvas, but so rare and important each individual was, I decided to paint a standalone portrait of each rhino in their own right. I started with Fatu, Najeem's daughter and the late Sudan's granddaughter. I'd only just begun the painting of Fatu when well-known rhino ranger James Mwende, who incidentally will be speaking to us on the night from Ol Pejeta, showed me a video he had taken of the girls in their rhino paddock. The clouds had just burst with long-awaited rain, and their rain-splattered bodies and unusual energy and excitement inspired me to revisit a technique I'd developed nearly 2 decades earlier. I hoped that the method would enable the portraits to take on a museum quality, a status that an almost extinct species deserves. I wanted them to look archaic, precious, irreplaceable, because all throughout the progress of the paintings, I was constantly thinking about and praying that the science that was going on in the background would stay their imminent extinction and save this ancient land.
As the artist of these two paintings, it would be my wish that they could sell to the same bidder. Najin and Fatu have always been together, and it seems fitting that the canvases should hang together. But this may not be possible on the night, so more than anything, I just would really like them to make enough money to make a difference where it's needed. Thank you very much.
Well, that says it all. Karen is so talented. She's such a great friend. And we've had donated from her 2 pictures, which I've had the privilege of selling. The first made £19,000. The second, I think, was £16,000. But this image here, which I'm selling beside me here, the image is so stunning. It's so dramatic. And to me, it's worth exactly the same amount of money. So I can start this at £5,000, but I think it's far too low. I want to see if anybody there would like to bid me £10,000 straight off. Is anybody out there that can bid me £10,000 because it's absolutely worth £10,000? I'm looking for £10,000 now. So if there's anybody out there that would like to bid £10,000, can you please put £10,000, feed that into your tablet, into your phone, into your computer right now? Can somebody let me know? At the moment, I'm waiting for your feedback. I want to see where we're going. So can anybody bid me £10,000? Can somebody bid me £10,000? Anybody bid me £10,000, please? I am waiting. I am waiting patiently. So does anybody bid me £10,000? I'm just waiting patiently because I think this is absolutely stunning. Karen, as I said, is one of the most talented wildlife artists that is around today. She lives and works in Kenya, so she's absolutely knows the savannah and the light and the texture that is so demanding to execute great imagery, great portraiture, great pictures. So, where are we? Lot 2. Can anybody bid me £10,000? Can anybody bid me £10,000 for this beautiful, beautiful image of Nijan? Anybody bid me £10,000? If not, I will take, let's halve it. Would anybody bid me £5,000 for this picture? Let's make it simple. Would anybody bid me £5,000 for this? Will anybody bid me £5,000 for this really beautiful oil on canvas? It's so majestic. I just think it's absolutely wonderful. It really has to be worth £5,000. Can anybody bid me £5,000? I'm waiting patiently for your bids because, boy, is it worth it. Anybody can bid me £5,000. I'm just hearing, actually, that we're having a little technical issues with receiving your bids, and maybe I've got those bids. The bids have come in, and possibly I can't see them in front of my screen. So let me just see where we're at now. Bids are in, and at the moment I have no bids for this beautiful image at £5,000. I can't believe it. We did so well on lot 1. Where are we? We now have, thanks to Richard Wilson, £5,000. Thank you, Richard. That is absolutely fantastic. Richard, you're a star. You have bid £5,000 on this beautiful image. Here it is beside me, and believe you me, it's so much better in the flesh. It's just an absolutely stunning, it's so, the vibrancy, the colour, it really jumps out. It's absolutely wonderful. It can be yours. At the moment, it's £5,000 only. The next bid is 5.5. I'm looking for 5,500 will be the next bid for this lot. At the moment, it's only at £5,000 with Richard Wilson. So Richard, you have bid £5,000. Can anybody bid me £5,500? It has to be worth it. Well, of course it's worth it. And it's an absolute bargain at £5,500. At the moment, it's £5,000. Thank you very much. It's now £5,500. At £5,500. At £5,500. We are now up and running. Richard, can you bid six? £6,000 is the next bid. That's more like it. We're now up and running. The next bid is £6,000. I'm looking for you, Richard, at £6,000. If you can, that would be absolutely wonderful. Because at the moment, it's only £5,500. So somebody at the moment is getting an absolute bargain. It sits here beside me. The image sits here beside me at £5,500 only. Surely it has to be worth more than that. Surely it has to be worth £6,000. Can somebody please bid me £6,000? Because this is absolutely beautiful. Here we go, we're in bid. Here we go, Patrick Green at £6,000. Fantastic, £6,000. That's more like it, at £6,000. £6,500 is the next bid. £6,500 is the next bid. I am looking for £6,500. At the moment, it's £6,000. We are now in at £6,500. That's brilliant, at £6,500. We have a bid at £6,500 now, at £6,500. At £6,500 only. I mean only. Remember, the last image I sold, very similar to this, of Sudan, was, I think it was, yes, £19,000. £19,000 we sold it for. Now that's the sort of price that it's worth. That's the sort of price that this image is worth. But at the moment, I'm going to sell at £6,500. Will anybody bid me £7,000 now? £7,000, please. £7,000 is what I'm looking for. Is there any bids at £7,000? If not, I will sell at £6,500. At £6,500. £7,000 we are now in. Thank you very much. At £7,000. It does take a bit of time for these bids to come in, but boy, is it worth it. At £7,000. £7,000 only. £7,500 is what I'm looking for. £7,500, please. At £7,500 is what I'm looking for. At the moment, it's £7,000. It's stunning. It's a beautiful, beautiful image of this majestic animal. Remember, there's only 2 left on the planet, and Karen is so intimate with them. She knows them. This is a beautiful image of Nijan. So at £7,000 only at the moment. I'm waiting patiently for the next bid of £7,500. Will anybody bid me £7,500? Otherwise, I will sell at £7,000. £7,500 is the next bid. That's what you have to type in, at £7,500. Otherwise, I am selling. I will be selling at £7,000. The gavel is raised at £7,000. Is there any further bid? At £7,000, I am selling. Nijan at £7,000. It's sold at £7,000. Thank you very much. That goes to an anonymous bidder. Oh, the screen has literally flashed in at £7,500. At £7,500, I'm taking £7,500. Of course I will. Of course I have to take £7,500. At £7,500, it just come in. So I'm taking it. I'm reopening the bids at £7,500. £8,000 is the next bid. So the anonymous bidder who bids £7,000, it's not yours. £8,000 will be the next bid. At the moment, it's with Harsh at £7,500. At £7,500, I'm looking for £8,000. Is there anybody who would like to bid at £8,000? Remember, the anonymous bidder with a 7 now has to be 8. At £7,500, I will sell. At £7,500, are we in, anonymous bidder, who bid me £7,000? It has to be 8. At the moment, it's £7,500. Any further bids? Sold at £7,500. Thank you very much indeed. Moving swiftly on to the very next bid, to the very next lot. This is Fatu. This is a beautiful image of Fatu by Karen. Here's Fatu. Again, the great thing about this image is there's a serenity about this particular image. I think this is absolutely stunning. So again, this is an original oil on canvas, of course, there's only one. So just like the previous lot, but this one is Fatu. So who will bid me £5,000 for this lot? Let's take this straight in at £5,000. At £5,000 for Fatu. Who will bid me £5,000? It's a beautiful image of Fatu, £5,000. Who will bid me £5,000 for this lot? I shall wait patiently for your bids. I'm looking for £5,000 for this particular lot. Who will bid me £5,000 for Fatu? Again, this is an image by the great artist Karen Lawrence Rowe. Again, a great friend of this charity. She deserves our support. This image is stunning at £5,000. It's an absolute bargain at £5,000. Who will bid me £5,000? Let's get bidding. You've done so well on the 2 or 3 previous lots. Who will bid me £5,000 only for Fatu? £5,000. You have to be quick now at £5,000. I will not sell for any less than £5,000 at £5,000. Who will bid me £5,000? I'm waiting for £5,000. £5,000 from Richard Wilson again. Thank you, Richard. At £5,000, you're in, Richard. Thank you very much for your bid at £5,000. Next bid, £5,500. £5,500 is what I'm looking for. £5,500. Who's in for £5,500 for Fatu? Oil on canvas, an original oil on canvas. £5,500 is the bid I'm looking for. At the moment, I will sell at £5,000. I will sell this lot at £5,000. And forgive me, because we have got an international audience, and sometimes the bids just take a bit of time to come through. But I'm waiting patiently, because every time these increments are another £500 into the coffers that we all need. The charity so needs this money. So at £5,000 from Richard Wilson, I will sell at £5,000. Richard, you're the only bidder, the maiden bidder on this lot. It's an absolute bargain at £5,000. I will sell at £5,000. Any further bidders? There's only one bidder, and Richard Wilson, it can be yours, it will be yours. Any further bids? Sold at £5,000. Now that's a bargain. But thank you very much for your bids. Next lot. Next lot is an extraordinary lot. This is Sudan, the monument. So husband and wife duo, Claude Koenig and Roonwing Kingdom, based in Gloucestershire, have become well famous for their stunning, imposing bronzes and silver sculptures. So this is an absolutely stunning bronze of the great man himself, Sudan. So in the impending tragedy of Sudan's death in March 2018, they wanted to record the actuality of what extinction of the northern white rhino means, with a powerful but poignant 3-dimensional image. And here he is. It's an absolute stunning image. So this is a bronze. The size is just over 1 meter in length. So it's 111 centimeters in length and just over 51 centimeters wide and 40 centimeters high. So it's big enough to sit in a house, small enough to sit in a house, big enough and small enough to be in a public space as well. So this is an absolutely stunning bronze. It's a limited edition of 20. So this can be yours for, my starting price for this is £12,000. Guide price is £25,000. So we want to give you a bargain. We want to give you something that you can take back with you and will be a memento for the rest of your lives and for generations to come, to remember and remind us of the great man himself, Sudan, who sadly passed away in 2018. We want to make a difference. We want to make sure that somehow Sudan is not the last remaining northern white rhino male on this planet. We want to make a difference to see whether that can be changed. There can be some kind of difference that we can make a difference here. So this bronze is £12,000 only. Who will bid me £12,000 for this bronze? It's absolutely stunning, £12,000. £12,000 is what I'm looking for, at £12,000 only. Remember, this is literally half of the recommended retail price for this stunning bronze of Sudan. So Sudan can be yours at £12,000. At £12,000. I'm looking at the screens to see who will bid me £12,000 only. £12,000 for this stunning bronze. £12,000. Any bids at £12,000? I know it's a lot of money, but it's worth it. At £12,000. £12,000 is what I'm looking for. The screens are silent in front of me at the moment at £12,000. £12,000 is what I'm looking for, £12,000. Is there any further bid at £12,000? This foundry in Gloucestershire, by the way, is probably the most renowned foundry in the country. Here you will find bronzes and statuary that are being linked or create works for great artists like Damien Hirst, for instance. So this is the best. This foundry is literally the best of the best. £12,000 is the opening bid. If there's no bids, I will pass this lot at £12,000 only. Is there any bids at £12,000? Looks like the screens are quiet on me in front at the moment at £12,000. I will pass this lot if there are no bids at £12,000 only. I will wait a few moments longer at £12,000. Unfortunately, that lot is unsold. We will pass that lot. So if you're interested, please get in contact with the charity, and I'm sure we can make some arrangements and we can make a sale for you afterwards. I know it's a lot of money, but it is an absolute stunning bronze. So that lot technically is not sold at the moment. But moving swiftly on to lot 5. This is lot 5, and I've only got 2 more lots to sell after this. The lot 5, out of this world safari experience for 4. So this is Ol Pejeta Conservancy, has a tailor-made and exclusive money can't buy behind the scenes safari for 4 people. Put together exclusively for this event, this exceptional safari cannot be booked anywhere else. It will take you behind the scenes of Ol Pejeta Conservancy in Kenya, one of the most significant conservancies in East Africa. Experience walking with rangers, get up close to the 2 northern white rhinos left on the planet, take part in their daily care and meet the world-renowned carers. Track lions with the research team, witness the training of the anti-poaching dog unit and be hands-on in setting a search and find exercise for them. These are just some of the things that you'll be able to do on this bespoke safari. Stay in Pelican House, a beautiful thatched cottage overlooking Pelican Dam. So this is a 6-day, 5-night safari for 4 people. That's, of course, when everything opens up, which by the sounds of it is literally just round the corner. So where are we? This is lot 5. I understand that we have a bid of £11,000 already for this lot, which is wonderful. So guide price in excess of £12,000. At the moment, I've got a bid at £11,000. £11,000 for lot 5. Is there anybody who would like to bid me 11.5? £11,000 is the bid at the moment. This is a pre-bid before the sale, before the auction opens tonight. This bid is £11,000 for this experience, lot 5. So this is for out of this world safari experience for Ol Pejeta. Who will bid me 11.5? £11,500 is what I'm looking for. At the moment, it's only £11,000. 11.5 is the next bid. Make it simple, make it £12,000. I will take 11.5 from anybody. Who will bid me £11,500? At the moment, I will sell at £11,000. At £11,000 only, I am selling this lot at £11,000 only. Who will bid me £11,000 for this wonderful safari experience for 4? £11,500 we have. That's more like it. £11,500. Thank you very much for that bid. £11,500. It's so nice when that screen flashes in front of me. £11,500. So that bidder that had bid £11,000, it's not you. The next bid is £12,000. I will wait for £12,000. £12,000 we are in. At £12,000. Richard Wilson again at £12,000. Thank you, Richard. At £12,000. Who will bid me 12,500? £12,500 I'm looking for. The next bid is £12,500. At the moment, Richard Wilson is on safari with 4 up to 5 fantastic days and absolutely wonderful. So here we are at 12,500. We've got a bit of a war going on here. At £12,500 is the next bid. We are in at £12,500. Richard, it's not yours. At the moment, it's £12,500. £12,500 is the bid at the moment. Richard, are you going up to 13? 12,500 is the bid. At £12,500, I will wait for you. At £13,000 we are looking for. At 12,500 on the screen in front of me, it's £12,500. At £12,500. Are we going up to £13,000 for this fantastic experience? You know, it's one of the best conservancies in East Africa. In my world, it's the best. So who will bid me £13,000? Richard, we are in at £13,000. Here is a man who knows how to bid. At £13,000, Richard Wilson, you are in at £13,000. Thank you very much for your bid. So the bidder who bid me £12,500, now is your opportunity right now to take it to 13,500. Are you in at 13,500? Do you really want to go at £13,500? I know you do. We all want to go. We all want to go travelling. We're all so cocooned in our own spaces at the moment. Just think of the great wide open spaces in East Africa. Let's get you out there. I now have a bid at £13,500. We are in at £13,500. Thank you very much for your bid. Richard, it's now, the ball is in your court. The next bid is £14,000. At the moment, the bid now is at 13,500. £14,000 is what I'm looking for. £14,000, please. I will wait patiently for £14,000. 13,500 it is, at £13,500. What a fantastic experience this will be for the winning bidder. Richard, you definitely want to go. He has bid £15,000. That's fantastic. £15,000. £15,000. You're blowing them out of the water. But anonymous bidder, don't let him do so. 15,500 is what I'm looking for. £15,500, please. Richard Wilson, at the moment, you are going on safari. But the bidder at 13,500, you have to do 15,500. 15,500 is what I'm looking for. £15,000, 15,500, we are in at 15,500. Brilliant, at 15,500. Richard, what I'm going to ask you, it's up to you. £15,500 is the bid. £16,000 I will take. £16,000 I will take. I'm waiting patiently for you, Richard. I'm looking at you. I know I am looking at you, Richard. I'm waiting for £16,000 at the very least. £16,000, please. That's £16,000. At the moment, I have anonymous bidder at £15,500. At £16,000, the man now knows how to bid at £16,000. Richard's back in at £16,000. At £16,000, anonymous bidder, where are you? It's very clear that you want to go too, which is fantastic. At the moment, it's £16,000 with Richard Wilson. That's £16,000. Anonymous bidder, are we back in? Do you really want to go? I know you want to go. And also, it is that fantastic. Let's see if we can get you there. 16.5, please. At 16.5, I'm looking for £16,500. I'm looking for your bid. At the moment, it's Richard Wilson at £16,000. 16.5 is the next bid. 16.5. In fact, at £16,500, I'm looking for. My screen has now gone dead on me. My screen has gone. Can we wake up our screen? And we're in at 16.5. The screen comes alive in front of me, and I have a bid of £16,500. Thank you, anonymous bidder. Thank you very much indeed. At 16.5. At £16,500. Where are we, Richard? Do you want to go? I know you want to go, Richard. So let's get typing your figure in. At 16.5 is the bid. Are we in at 17? £17,000. We're in, Richard. Thank you very much. At 17,000. 17,000. At 17,000 is the bid. 17,000. 17.5 now, anonymous bidder, please. At 17.5. Let's get this up to 17.5. This is serious money, but it's a serious experience. It's a wonderful experience, and it's worth every penny. At the moment, at the bid is £17,500. I can wait for another £500, and it's only another £500. What's another £500? So let's get this up to £17,500. At £17,500, please, anonymous bidder. I will wait patiently for you at 17.5. I've done a lot of patient waiting, and it's been worth it because these bids are absolutely fantastic. So let's get this bid up for this safari for £17,500, please. We have a bid at £17,500. Thank you very much indeed. At £17,500. Richard, where are you? I'm waiting for you now, Richard. At 70, the bid is now £17,500. So Richard, it's not you at £17,500. Your bid is 17 only. Richard has now bid £18,000. Thank you very much, Richard. £18,000. Anonymous bidder, you now know exactly how to bid because you've been doing it all evening long. Let's get you up there. At the moment, the bid is £18,000. Anonymous bidder, it's not yours. At the moment, it's £18,000. £18,000. Anonymous bidder, where are you? £18,000 is with Richard Wilson at £18,000. £18,000. Anonymous bidder, where are you? Where are you? Where are you, anonymous bidder? At the moment, it's not you going to safari. It's not you going to watch the sun set. It's not you going to spend time with those two beautiful beasts that are waiting for you. At the moment, it's £18,000. Anonymous bidder, where are you? £18,000. It's with Richard Wilson at £18,000. Next bid is £18,500. £18,500. I will wait at £18,500. £18,500 is what I'm looking for. £18,500 is the next bid. I will raise my gavel at £18,000. It's with Richard Wilson at £18,000. I will raise my gavel. I'm waiting for the anonymous bidder to come back for 18.5. I will sell at £18,000. The suspense is killing me. I need the £18,500. Are we in? Raising my gavel. I will sell at £18,000. Richard Wilson, that's you. Congratulations. That is absolutely fantastic. Congratulations. And anonymous bidder, I really, really appreciate your support. Thank you very, very much indeed. And thank you all for being so patient. It's a great war when that happens. That's absolutely wonderful. It's auctioneer's heaven. Next lot. 2 more lots to go. We have something completely different, which is Sudan's Footprint by Dennis Matthews. Now, I wonder if you could see it on the screens, because this is totally different, something I've not really seen before. This is Sudan's Footprint, and Sudan's Footprint was cast when Sudan, of course, was still alive. This bronze and precious memento is unique, original, and the only one of its kind. The bronze was created and cast on site using the lost wax process, and its sheer size reminds us of the power and, of course, the magnificence of the great man himself, Sudan. So this is a one and only bronze casting, and it's your opportunity to buy it, I think, for relatively, well, very reasonably priced. I will open the bidding at 2,800. At 2,800 only. At 2,800. At 2,800. Is there any bids? Do we have a bid? This is lot 6. Let me have a look at the screens. We now have lots of bids come through here. At the moment, I have a bid at 2,008. I have a bid of 2,800. Is there anybody that can take that up to 3,000? 3,000 is what I'm looking for. Can somebody bid me £3,000? 2,800. I've got one bid at 2,800. Is it £3,000 from anyone? £3,000 is the next bid. I'm looking around the room, and of course my monitor, forgive me for doing that. It's £2,800. £3,000 is what I'm looking for. £3,000 is the next bid for lot 6 for the imprint. Beautiful bronze casting. £3,000, please. £3,000. You are in, anonymous bidder, at £3,000. Thank you very much, at £3,000. I just think this is absolutely stunning. Really different. And I've spent a lot of time, all of my working life in the art and antiques business. And I just think this is a stunning, unique object. At £3,000, it's worth every single penny. Who will bid me 3,500? Who will bid me £3,500 for this imprint? £3,500. It's got to be worth £3,500. I have a bid of £3,000. Anonymous bidder has just come in at 3,000. Look at my screens. I'm waiting patiently for £3,500, and I appreciate everybody else that's waiting as well, because this is serious money. 3,200 I have. 3,200, that's fine at 3,200. Andrew Campbell, you're back in at 3,200. It's yours at the moment. Andrew Campbell, 3,200. Anonymous bidder, can you take me up to 3,500? 3,500. It has to be worth £3,500. 3,200 is the bid at the moment at 3,200. At 3,200. Where are we? Will we bid £3,500? Anonymous bidder, where are we? Oh, we're going up at 3,300. I will take 3,300. That's fine at 3,300. 3,300. Let's go up by another 100, Andrew. You can do another 100 by the looks of it at 3,300. You can do 3,400. Maybe if you want to do 3,500. It has to be worth £3,500. I mean, it's got to be worth, I think this is in excess of £6,000. The value of this is in excess of 6,000. But we now have a new bidder of 3,400. Thank you very much. At 3,400, that's Patrick Green at 3,400. 3,400. Who is back in? Oh, it's Andrew. Are you back in? Anonymous bidder, are you back in? I've got 3 bids now. The highest bid is 3,400. Is it 3,500? £3,500 is the next bid. I have a new bid at £4,000. That's more like it, at £4,000. Let's blow them all out of the water at £4,000. That's fantastic. Thank you very much, anonymous bidder, at £4,000. Is it 4,500? 4,500 now. Let's take it up to 4,500. At 4,500. At £4,500. My screen at £4,000. At £4,000 I have. Who will take it up to 4,500? Who will take it up to £4,500? Let's have a look at the screens. The screens have gone a little bit haywire on me. That's because everyone's bidding. At £4,000. At £4,000. It's still at £4,000. It's 4,000. Who will bid 4,500? 4,500. What about 4,200? 4,200 I will take. At 4,200 I will take at 4,200. This is lot 6, this fantastic imprint. Beautiful imprint of Sudan's £4,000 is the highest bidder at £4,000. It's 4,200 now. I will wait for 4,200. You can bid at 4,200 if you wish. It's worth every penny at 4,200. 4,200, a new bidder, Robin Loveland at 4,200. Thank you very much at 4,200. That's the spirit at 4,200. New bidder, 4,200. 4,200, 4,003. I will take 4,003. Anonymous bidder, 4,003. 4,300 I have at 4,300. At 4,300, is it 4,4? 4,4 is the next bid. At 4,300, anonymous bidder, this is lot 6 for the imprint, 4,300. At 4,300 only. This is an absolute bargain at 4,300. Who will bid me 4,4, maybe even 4,5? At 4,300 only. At 4,4, Patrick Green, you're back in at 4,4. At 4,4, thank you, Patrick, at 4,400. You can see quality when you see it in front of you there. 4,400. Thank you, Patrick, at 4,4. Who will take me up to 4.5? 4,500 is the next bid. 4,500. Anonymous bidder, 4.5. Thank you very much. At 4.5. We've got a bit of a bidding war in front of us here. At 4,500. Is it 4,6? 4,6 is the next bid. 4,600. I will take just 100 more. It's only £100 more. At 4, at the moment, the bid is 4.5. Next bid, 4,600. Next bid, 4,600 only. This is still such a bargain at 4,500 only. Next bid, 4,006. I know there's a lot of you bidding on this, so come on, let's get you to 4,600. Let's get this lot up to 4,600, please. At 4,600. I'm looking at the screens. I'm waiting for that bid. Next bid, 4,600. At the moment, it's 4.5. At 4,500 only. At 4,500. At 4,500 only. I will sell at 4,500 for this beautiful casting. Robin, you're back in at 4,700. Thank you very much. 4,700. That's more like it at 4,700. Let's get this up to 5, please. Let's get this up to 5,000. At the moment, it's with Robin at 4,700. 4,700 with Robin Loveland at 4,000. We have a new bidder at £5,000. That's more like it, at £5,000. At £5,000, anonymous bidder at 5,000. Thank you very much. 5.5 now, please. Somebody at 5.5. This is more like it. This is where we should be going with this lot. At £5,000. At £5,000. 5.5 is the next bid. I will take a little less if you want to. At 5,002. Let's do 5,002, someone. But if you want to blow them all out of the water, let's do 5.5. Come on, bidders. There's a lot of you people bidding there for you, which is brilliant. And thank you so much for all the bids on this particular lot, and of course, all the previous lots as well. You've been so generous here. I know it's evening here in London, but we're just so grateful. At £5,000 only at the moment. At £5,000, I will sell at £5,000. At £5,000 for this beautiful, stunning bronze imprint of Sudan's foot. At £5,000, I will sell at £5,000. I'm looking at the screens at £5,000. I'm waiting, but I can't wait all evening. At £5,000, I will sell at £5,000. Sold at £5,000. Thank you so much. That's anonymous bidder for lot 6. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so very much. So we've all been waiting patiently, which is so kind of you, so generous. But we have been raising an awful lot of money, which is so important, particularly because tourists and the tourist trade and the tourist pound and the tourist dollar just can't get out there. I have just seen that I'm just looking at the screens. I'm just looking at the screens, and this is important. I have to stop because I've just got a new bid for lot 6. So I'm going to reopen it and apologise. I really humbly apologise for the anonymous bidder, but the new bid from Robin Loveland is 5,250. Of course I have to reopen the bidding because it's more money. Ordinarily I would have closed the bid, but it's just so important to get the money in. So I'm reopening lot 6. At the moment it's 5,250. So anonymous bidder, can we go up to 5.5? I shall wait for you to come back to 5.5 for this beautiful, stunning, unique imprint. I'm waiting patiently for 5.5 from you. Thank you so much. You've just come in at 5.5. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. So it's yours, anonymous bidder, at 5.5. Robin, are we back in? You've got to be as speedily and quick as possible. At 5.5 is the bid. At £5,000, Robin, it's not with you. At the moment, the bid is £5,500. Who will bid me £6,000? Robin, will you do 6,000? I'm looking at you directly for £6,000. Will you do it for me? Can you do £6,000? It's a stunning, unique imprint. £6,000, can you do it, please? £6,000. At the moment, it's not yours. Anonymous bidder at 5.5. £6,000 is the bid. Sorry, that's the bid I'm looking for. At the moment, it's 5.5. £6,000 is the next bid. Robin, will you do 6,000? At £6,000 I'm looking for. At the moment, it's 5.5. I apologise for reopening it, but I have to take every penny that I can. So at the moment it's £5,500. At £5,500 to the anonymous bidder, Robin, it's not yours at the moment. Will you do £6,000? If not, I will sell to the new anonymous bidder at 5.5, at £5,500. Any further bids? Sold at £5,500. Oh, Robin, you're in. I'm reopening it for the second time. £6,000. Just in time, and you are just in time, believe you me, at £6,000, at £6,000. Anonymous bidder, you know my next question, £6,500. £6,500. Anonymous bidder has done 6,100. Okay, I'll take it at 6,100. I will take it at 6,000. Robin, it's back to you. It's not yours at 6,100. Is now the new bid at 6,100. Let's be quick now. Let's take this up to 6.5. Robin, it's up to you. At the moment, the bid is 6,100. The anonymous bidder has been cheeky with another £100 bid. Another £100 bid at 6,100. 6,100 is the bid. Will you do 6.5, Robin? Will you do 6.5, please? I'm looking at the screens and I'm waiting patiently. I'm waiting patiently for you. Will you do 6,500? I will take a little less, but at the moment the bid is 6,100. I'm going to raise my gavel, and hopefully I won't have to reopen up the sale again, because I've done this twice now for this particular lot. So at 6,100, I'm looking at the screens, at 6,100, I will sell this lot at 6,100. Are you sure, Robin, you're not in? At 6,100 is the bid, and Robin, it's not you at the moment. At 6,100, I will sell at 6,100. Robin, you have just bid 6,250. Thank you very much. At 6,250. Anonymous bidder, are we back in? 6,250 is your bid. At 6,250. 6,250. Let's now take this up to 6.5. The next bid, 6.5, is the next bid at 6.5. 6,250 is the bid. At 6,250 is the bid. Anonymous bidder, thank you very much. It's 6.5. 6.5. Now let's go up in 500 increments, please. Next bid is £7,000. Robin, are you back in? Are we back in? The new bid is 6.5. Anonymous bidder at £6,500. At £6,500. Can we take this up to 7? Can we take this lot up to £7,000, please? At £6,500. Robin, are we back in? At the moment, the bid is £6,500. I will sell at £6,500. New bidder at £6,000. No, that's six. New bidder is just flashing up. New bidder at 6,600. Thank you very much. At 6,006. 6,600 is the new bidder at £600. That's Patrick Green at 6,600. Let's take this up to £7,000, please, somebody. £7,000 is really what I'm looking for. Let's do this at 7,000. New bidder 6,750. You're now getting cheeky, but I now have to hurry you. A new bidder is 6,750. The next bid needs to be £7,000. That's 6,750. I will take 6,750. 6,750 is the bid. £7,000 is the new bid that I'm looking for. At 6,750, I will sell to anonymous bidder at 6,750. I'm waiting for £7,000, but I can't wait too long. At 6,750 is the bid. I will sell at 6,750 at the moment. And this is the last time I'm not reopening the bids. At 6,750, I've reopened the bids twice. We are not going back. At £6,750. Is there any further bids? I'm selling to your anonymous bidder at £6,750. Sold at £6,750. Congratulations, anonymous bidder, and thank you so very much for all of you that bid and all of you that are watching this very, very exciting auction unfold. Last lot, and you've been very, very patient. The last lot, I'm very excited to say that we can go across to the Benjamin Wall's gallery in America. And is Benjamin there? Is the gallery there? Can we see you? Can we wave at you? Can we see you? Can you wave at us, guys? Can you give us a wave?
He's waving.
Are they waving? They're waving. That's brilliant.
Good evening,
nice
London.
To see you
Good evening,
guys.
Kenya. And welcome to all of you joining us from around the world. My name is Benjamin Walls, and you find yourself at the Benjamin Walls Gallery of Asheville. This evening, I'm accompanied by this regal gentleman. His name is Noble. And this evening, we're auctioning Noble to support the incredible conservation work that's being done at Ol Pejeta. Not just any image of Noble, but actually we're auctioning an artist proof. Please understand, I only create 50 artist proofs, and those images are typically held in reserve to show in galleries and museums. Occasionally I do offer them for auction, and in fact, Noble has raised about $100,000 at auction for conservation. I hope that he inspires you and earns your bid. He was created on location in Kenya. In fact, I had to lay down flat in the bed of the truck in order to create this eye-to-eye and very potent portrait of this regal male lion. So thank you so much for supporting the conservation work being done at Ol Pejeta. Thank you for joining us this evening. I hope to see you perhaps in Kenya or perhaps here in Asheville sometime very soon. Good luck with your bids.
So as we've seen, Benjamin is in his gallery, and he's got some great supporters with him tonight as well. And of course, I know it's not tonight with you, Benjamin, at the moment. But we really appreciate you joining us tonight. We really appreciate your donated lot. And I think we've saved literally one of the best lots till last. I think this is an absolutely stunning image of Noble. And forgive me, I've got a bit of a sore throat now because I've been selling as hard and as fast as I humanly possibly can, which I'm so excited about. I'm just so excited about what we've been able to achieve tonight. But this lot is absolutely stunning, this image of Noble. This is a limited edition number of this beautiful beast. But this is an artist proof. And I know, being an art dealer myself, an art collector and an art auctioneer, that some people liked just to collect artist proofs. So this is not a numbered, not a numbered limited edition. It's an artist proof, which is so exciting. And Benjamin has donated this lot. So Benjamin, I really appreciate it, and I'm so pleased that you've able to join us here tonight. So ordinarily, this lot is worth an absolute fortune. We reckon that it should usually retails around £15,000, but I want to start the bidding as little as £8,000. £8,000 is what I'm looking for, and we're straight in at £8,000. Worth every penny at £8,000. Anonymous bidder at £8,000. At £8,000, we are in at £8,000. Thank you, anonymous bidder. I hope it's somebody from your great gallery, Benjamin. I hope it is. If not, lock the doors until they do bid. At £8,000. At £8,000 is the bid. At £8,000. Is 8.5 from anyone? £8,500 is what I'm looking for, is the next bid at £8,500. This beautiful beast of Noble, which is such a stunning, glorious image. You'd imagine that on any wall, it would just take your breath away. £8,500 is what I'm looking for, at £8,500. That is an absolute bargain at £8,000. So the next bid is 8.5. I'm waiting patiently for the bids at £8,500. At the moment, the bid is only £8,000. Now, come on, let's really get this lot up to, at the moment it's £8,000, so let's get this up at 8.5 I'm looking for. I'm looking at the screens, at the moment it's £8,000 only. At £8,000, this beautiful Benjamin Wall's image of this beautiful Maasai Mara king of that beautiful landscape, Noble. £8,500 I'm looking for. At £8,000 only, I will sell at £8,000. I will sell at £8,000. I'm looking at my screen. We have one bidder at £8,000. I'm surprised because this is absolutely stunning and wonderful. This lot is very, very dramatic. £8,500 I'm looking for at £8,500. Looking at my screens at £8,000. At £8,500 will be the next bid. At £8,500. If not, I will sell at £8,000. At £8,000 only, I will sell this lot at £8,000. Is there any further bids? Any further bids? The gavel is about to fall. At £8,000 only. Are there any bids? Any further bids at £8,000? At the moment, it's £8,000. Any further bids? I'm happy to sell at £8,000. Going once, going twice. Sold at £8,000. And thank you so much for all your support, and thank you so much for bidding. You have been truly fantastic, and it's been a truly successful auction. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the night. And thank you for being so patient, for all of those of you that have just been sitting waiting for the auction to end. But we really appreciate it. Now remember, the online auction closes tomorrow at 7 p.m. London time. And there's some truly wonderful images and holidays and experiences for you to bid on. There's so much for you still to bid on. But thank you very much for your time and your contributions tonight. And I shall hand you now back to Giles. Thank you very much indeed.
Jonty, thank you so much. I am truly speechless. I've seen you over the years do many of these live auctions, and that one definitely literally had me on the edge of my seat with what was happening to and from off the screens and with technology. You did an absolutely cracking job. Now, that does, unfortunately, the auction has pushed out much longer in terms of time than what we were expecting. And at the beginning, myself and Simon were asking you guys to put in questions. And as you can see, I've now got pages and pages of questions. But unfortunately, the time restraint means that we're not going to be able to get round to doing them live. but I can promise you and assure you that the Helping Rhinos team, as well as the team at Ol Pejeta, will get round to answering them on the YouTube link. So if you have a question, there's been some fantastic ones here from children, from people all over the world. And as I said, I'm a little bit disappointed, but unfortunately, as Jonty was saying, it was much more critical and of a priority this evening that we raise those much needed funds for rhino conservation. Now, when we talk about funds, we're hoping on the screen that I can't see a live feed screen, but to give you an idea of just how incredible your hard work and your commitment to helping us this evening has gone. We are now looking at close to £90,000 of support. Simon and I were talking before the event this evening, and we were hoping for above 60. The fact that we're already on 90, but don't forget, as Jonty said, it's still not closed. You've got until 7 p.m. tomorrow to do the silent auctions, as well as make a donation on our Givergy page. And last but not least, please, if you've ever wanted for that special treat, a birthday, or even just as a family memento, you can actually name a baby rhino if you win in that prize draw. So again, that is on that givergy.uk/Sundowners link. So should be on your screen. As you can see there, nearly £90,000 already. I cannot thank you enough. So really, that just leaves me to wrap up the evening. Once again, there's a huge thank you to the team here in the UK, the team over in Kenya, the team that's been working at the gallery in New York. But most of all, our thanks goes to you guys for watching and for supporting us. And I think we're going to be crossing to Kenya. The team there are keen to wave out as well. Now, I've been desperate for this for the entire auction. So hopefully when they come up on the screen, I'll be able to cheers you all with a sundowner myself. But once again, please, there's lots of ways you can continue to support Helping Rhino Conservation with the website. helpingrhinos.org is obviously the quickest way to do that. And if you want to find out more about the work that Ol Pejeta do, then obviously that's olpejeta.com as well. So. Any second. I can hear them, but I can't see them. Are they there? I think they're there. They're there. Yeah, they're waving. So on behalf of everyone, guys, for this evening, thank you so much. And cheers. Here's Simon.
Thanks, everyone.
Good evening.